Hey guys, Scott Patton here on Lake Chickamauga. This is our What's Happening on Chickamauga Lake video, and I'm going to start doing these about every 10 days for you guys. For you guys traveling down here, if you're just fishing on the weekends or whenever you get a chance to come down and fish. I'm going to try to put these things out here, kind of give you an idea of what's going on when you come down here. That way you know what to expect and what baits and stuff like that to bring. Um, you know, One thing that is always the big variable in fishing is going to be the weather. Okay, last week we had some cloud cover, rain. Like I fished top waters almost all day long, and the fish were really aggressive throughout the day, more so than they are since the sun's come out the last couple of days. It seemed like it's been more of a morning bite. It seemed like it's been more of a morning bite on my top waters. I'm still fishing some of the same top water baits I fished all, last week. This Lucky Craft gunfish and Tennessee shad pattern's been real good. One thing I usually do on a lot of these, you can see I replace that front hook with a red hook, and I upgrade on these hooks to number 2 than the hooks that come with it from the factory. But I just feel like that red hook, because a lot of times, here lately, they've been wanting that bait. Most of the times, they've been wanting it walked, then stopped, walked, then stopped. I haven't had that many bites this week on that bait continuously moving. So they've kind of been wanting it walk, 2 feet, stop it, walk it 2 feet and stop it. And that's been real key. But I've done this red hook deal for years, and I really think it gives them something to focus on. So, I've been throwing that. That's a Lucky Craft 115, you guys. That one right there is. And the other Lucky Craft, this is Lucky Craft 117. These have done real good. These don't make as much commotion as the 115 does. I like that 115 a lot when you got a chop on the water. And seems like when it lays down, it gets more slick. Then the 117 is a more slim bait. I don't change the hooks on these. It comes with 3 treble hooks on them. The hooks on there right here, it work fine for me. But I've been casting in that bone color, and then in some kind of shad pattern, something with a white belly, you guys. And again, I'm still working this same, that Lucky Craft 117 the same way, walking it, stopping it, walking it, stopping it. I've also, on days where it's been sunny and dead calm, I don't get that many bites on that Lucky Craft still. I've been throwing more like the Sammies, and then I've been throwing the Strike King Sexy Dog. I'm throwing these in like the bone color, shad patterns and stuff, so you see that. But both these got a little bit different actions. A lot of times you just got to kind of go over them fish and see what proof, what kind of noise or what kind of action they're wanting on these topwater baits. It's hard to pin down just one per day on which one they're going to bite. But one of the given things you can do is when it's choppy, you got chop on the water and it's overcast, seem like the ones that makes more noise with a popping, with a mouth on it where it pops and spits some water, has been more productive. And then when it's more slick or sunny out later in the morning, like on a day like today, you got these bright clear skies, I would have fished these. We ain't got much winds this morning, so I would even started out with just my my Sammy and my Strike King Sexy Dog. I'm throwing these on 17-pound test line most of the time, because there is some fish schooling. I haven't seen that much schooling. They've been coming up, individual fish have been coming up individually chasing bait. But if I see one come up, I like that 17-pound test line, because you got to use mono or braid, you guys. But right now I've been using mono because you're probably going to get, I've been getting 20, 25 bites in 6 hours in a 6-hour day, and maybe catching half of them. So, and I mean, some of them are really good bites, but it's just like they're just not 100% committed to it. And I think a lot of it is just water temperature. Um, so, the 17-pound test, I like it because it's a little bit lighter than the 20-pound test. When I see one come up chasing bait, I can sling to him, and he might just be a little bit out of distance. I may get another 5 feet out of my cast with that lighter, that 17 versus 20. So that's why I go that route with the line. All right. Something that's really changing, 10 days ago, I wasn't getting that many bites on a frog. You could get bit on a frog, but it just wasn't, to me, wasn't the dominant bite. The walking bait was. Um, so Right now, in just the past few days, with these real cool nights we've had, it's amazing on how much bluegill I'm hearing in the grass mats now. Um, and that's right there is what that, to me, that of course is what triggers and lets me know I need to start throwing that frog. So we've been throwing the frog some, been catching some fish on it. I think that's going. I don't think. I almost know it's going to just keep on getting better down here. We got some fantastic mats this year on Chick, and a lot of us just finding the right grass beds and then throwing the frogs. But one thing that can always let you know you're in the right areas, of course, is fish activity and hearing them bluegill pop, guys. So that's one thing I've uh, I've seen change in the last few days, and it's going to continue to keep getting better. We got some really stable weather. One thing I always do is look at the weather, what I got the next, 7 to 10 days, and it really plays a big role. It's sunny, clear skies, no wind down here. It can make a little bit tougher bite on your walking baits and stuff like that. One thing I expect maybe because the sun will bring up shad though, I think we'll get more groups of fish schooling, which I was doing more on the lower end of the lake versus up in the river where I was fishing for more individual feeding fish in a given area in the back of the bays, and then on some of the big flats and stuff like that. The fish are starting to turn on. The difference I've seen versus fishing from Dayton north versus Dayton south is going north up in the river on Chick. It seems like that I've been able to draw more big bites, more quality bites than I have going down towards the dam of the south end. I know there's big fish down there. I know they're just more sparse right now. Uh, but I've caught more 2 to 4 pounders going south, uh, and they've been more of a schooling activity going down there instead of individual bite. But I don't know for sure what's going to happen, because the mats are starting to turn on. If those schooling fish are going to still be there or not, it's just something we'll have to kind of wait and see. But if I'm fishing them schooling fish, of course, I'm throwing my top waters. If they won't hit that top water, then I may go around, throw a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. We'll talk more about both of those baits here in just a second. But the frog bite is definitely going to be turning on you guys. You're going to have to hunt them down. They're not going to be everywhere. Don't come down here. We got miles and miles of mats, and they are not going to be everywhere. A lot of people think that. If you go back in a pocket and you try some of those mats, you can try main lake mats. You can go back in the creeks and try mats like that. You're going to have to find your fish, okay? Us as guides, that's something we do, and all of us. We have to spend a lot of time on the water finding these fish for you guys. So if you don't have a whole lot of time to do that, sometimes it's a lot easier to hire a guide and go out because we've already done that part of the homework for you. But your popping frogs is something I always like. I'll use just a walking frog, and again on that right there, you can play around with the colors. A popping frog or a walking frog. Um, it just depends. And when I'm calling it a walking frog, I'm talking about just one that doesn't have a mouth on it where it pops like that. Black is something that's always going to be good down here. If you have to pick out 2 colors to go with, guys, get you a black one and a white one, and you're probably going to catch just as many fish as you will throwing a whole bunch of variety of colors. But another color that is good down here in Chickamauga is it's like a green frog. Something bright chartreuse or something like that. That can work down here too. But like I said, this color right here, it's got some chartreuse on it, so you can kind of play around with that. Um, but if I had to pick two, of course, I don't care anywhere in the country, but even here on Chick, it's going to be a black frog or a white frog, okay? I'm throwing it on 50 to 65 pound test line. This is rigged up on a 7/6 flipping stick. I like, when I'm going to fishing, heavy mats, I like that leverage. I like the power, and plus I like the leverage on, or the distance, length on this rod in order to make a long cast. Like I said, you can go 50 or 65 pound tests. Everybody's got their own deal about that, but I usually do 50 a lot of times because I feel like I can get a little bit more distance if I see a fish, chasing bait back in that mat, um, or but I feel like that I got enough strength with that 50-pound test line to catch a big fish. If you hook a big fish in that mat, you guys, don't always try to pull him to you. If it's real thick in there, hold him tight, keep him buried up in that grass, get that trolling motor on high and go in there after him. But the main thing is to keep that rod tight, keep that line tight, keep that fish buried up in that grass so he can't wiggle around, maybe work that hook loose. Because you get him matted up, he's tied up, so he can't uh, throw that hook out of his mouth. A lot of times you lose a big fish going after it like that. And a lot of times because you'll drop your rod a little bit like that, and that fish gets some room to sit there and shake that head on and loosen that hook up, and he'll lose it, and then you'll be upset for sure. But so the frog bite is definitely happening, you guys. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to going out there and catching more fish on it. One thing I kind of got away from is something else that's really been working real good for me is throwing a 1/4 ounce spinner bait. Like I said, it's been cloudy all last week, and it did real good for us. I've got a little spinner bait that I make down here, and I've done so well with it. But it's just a little blue and white chartreuse spinner bait. I cut that wire frame down where it's real compact and everything. But that's a little turtle shell on there. I don't know what it is about that turtle shell down here, but they really like it. Which the turtle shell catches a lot of fish all over the country. But you can see how I got that rigged up. I've been throwing the top wire a lot early in the morning, and then I've been going to a spinnerbait. But I really think a guy could probably start out with a spinnerbait early in the morning and catch fish. I have done that a couple of days with a couple guys that want to throw the spinnerbait. But that spinnerbait is definitely catching fish right now, and they're knocking the far out of it when they hit it. So I'm throwing it on 17-pound test Seaguar fluorocarbon. Like I say, if I go 20 on it, it's almost too heavy. One thing I think about too, guys, if you're going to throw a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, you really got to watch on the trailer you put on there. This is a split tail on here. It's real streamlined. You put one too bulky or even a paddle tail sometimes, it pulls too much water and it makes that bait want to roll on the side when you're rolling it. So you really got to be particular on what type of trailer you're going to rig up with a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, okay? And I've always done real good with that split tail right there on there. That's a Zoom, I believe, guys, but there's several of them made out there. But I got these for sale. If anybody's interested in them, we'll have our information below in the description here, and you can get a hold of us, and we can rig some of these up. I've already had several people buying them from me. We've been shipping them out, but that right there has been catching a lot of fish. If it's windy, I'm telling you, this is a real good bait to throw too. But I really look for this spinner bait to be good in the next month, 2 months. It's just a little bait I use down here, and it's like they don't see it a lot, but it catches a lot of fish for me. I've had a lot of guys, like I say, on my guide trips want to buy them after I get done. Of course, the jackhammer, been catching a few fish on it too. I don't know why, but I just have not got into that real good jackhammer bite just yet. I don't know if it's just part of the lake I'm fishing, but usually now and through September and October, I had a 9/11 last year on this in September, but I was catching several good 3 and 4 pounders on it. But we've had a different year this year too. It's kind of cooled off real fast, than normally is this time of year, which I'm tickled with. So, but this is a bait that I keep tied on. It's caught me some fish, and I really look for this bait to kind of excel here in the next week or two, especially back in the creeks, you guys. If you're fishing, um, just some flats, some grass flats and stuff like that, bluff walls around docks and stuff like that. This chatterbait or a jackhammer can be really good, and it catches a lot of fish. But I love throwing it up on the shallow grass flats when I'm seeing balls and shad up there and seeing the fish chase it, because it's definitely a fish catcher. And I don't know if I said or not, but I'm throwing this on 17 or 20 pound test line. That's the 3/8 ounce I got right here. And I usually throw the 3/8 ounce because, like I said, I'm throwing up on the flats. So don't forget about that jackhammer too, guys. But as of right now, that's basically what I'm doing down here. I've caught fish on the main lake. I've caught fish in the creeks. I've caught fish on the flats. You got to find them, guys. They ain't everywhere, okay? And of course, this lake gets a lot of pressure, but the fish are there. You can catch some big fish this time of year. And I hope this helps you out some on, coming down here and trying to find you some fish, because I know we all want to catch them, especially when you do come down here. I've got days available, you guys. I got just a few days open in September. I've got October, and I got days in November too. All these are going to be really good months. And like I say, really think that frog bite is getting ready to be, be the hot deal down here on Chickamauga real soon. But even though if it is, you guys, I'm telling you, don't forget your other baits, because all the fish ain't gonna go in the grass beds at one time. That's one thing you want to keep in mind. But I hope this helps you guys out. You guys subscribe, appreciate it. Trying to build this channel up to where we can keep on bringing you guys this information, help you guys out on your fishing. And again, if you're looking for a guide trip, contact me. Information will be below. I appreciate all you guys that have come out and fished with me. And I appreciate you following and like this video. And we'll see you guys on the water. Thanks.